What's up, people? It's Nation Girl 30 here, and I know I haven't been making videos as of late, but as you can hear, I am sick as a dog. Um, so I really just haven't been up to making any videos, especially SmackDown videos. But if I feel better this week, I might make one. I don't know. But anyway, this is my Raw review for September 3rd. I have to say that it was really interesting seeing CM Punk come out there, especially it was in his hometown, Chicago. And it was nice that him and Sheamus had some kind of a standoff. But the one thing I don't really understand is like, why are the WWE trying to make this guy a heel in Chicago? Come on. For anyone in the States, we all know that people from Chicago are the most loyal of the loyal people. Like, seriously. They are absolutely, positively, genuinely loyal to anyone that comes from Chicago. CM Punk could be face, he could be heel, he could spit on his mom for all we know, and people will still love him. I know maybe that was a little extreme, but honestly, the fact that you're not going to really get any heel heat from him in Chicago. I mean, no, there's absolutely no way. But he really got a huge pop from the crowd the first time he came out. And of course, it's his hometown. But it was nice that the fact that they had banter back and forth. But it was interesting how that, it was nice to actually see that AJ didn't come out skipping this time. I actually thought I was going to be able to take her seriously. But as time went on, I was wrong. But it led to a champion versus champion match, and then it led to John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the main event. They had two main events. But unfortunately, one main event could not really happen because of the fact that CM Punk decided to walk out because it was Labor Day. And yes, it's Labor Day. Don't get me wrong. I am happy that it is Labor Day. But the whole Labor Day thing, the whole theme of Labor Day kind of went on throughout the night. Especially the fact that Jack Swagger decided to walk out as well because he lost his match against Sheamus. And yeah, he has gone downhill, so I'm surprised he didn't walk out sooner. But honestly, I really didn't care much for the other matches. Antonio Cesaro versus Santino Marella? No, come on, man. I mean, there are two matches that I just didn't get. Number one, I didn't get that match because, for crying out loud, Santino Marella was never gonna ever get his title back, and I'm glad he didn't, because let's face it, he was making a mockery of that belt. That belt needs to go to somebody that will really uphold it, and it will really make sense for Antonio Cesaro to have the European belt if they bring that back. But we don't really know right now. But regardless of that, that was a dumb match because we know Santino was going to lose. Predictable. Then Ryback versus Jinder Mahal. Why have this match again when when you've already settled it for the last Raw? I mean, it was either last SmackDown or last Raw. Either or, it was settled. It was squashed. The feud is done. So why have this again just for Jinder Mahal to literally be completely decimated in the ring again? Seriously. And it was kind of interesting the fact that The Miz was like, I'm not impressed with this guy because this guy's only had 5-minute matches. Hello, I'm so happy that people finally realize this. Why are you impressed with Ryback if Ryback's going to have all these short matches and annihilate people? And only have people that like weigh maybe $1.25. But regardless of that, it was really a dumb match to have. And I really didn't care much about it. But the one thing that really pissed me off was the fact that we had a tag team. We had Tensai and Cody Rhodes versus Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio. We all know that Rey Mysterio is priming Sin Cara to take his place, and it's gonna be a match between him and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. It's a given. That's gonna be a passing of the torch. But it was really nice to see Cody Rhodes actually in a match and actually start up like a heat up kind of a feud between not only him but Rey Mysterio as well. Anyone in a mask is gonna fight them. So I really do like the fact that Cody Rhodes was out there. I will always like the fact that Cody Rhodes was out there because he was pretty much the most entertainment that, besides, yes, Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio, they're not bad. They're pretty entertaining in the ring, but I actually do like the moves and the style of Cody Rhodes, and I prefer to see him than the other two. But moving on from there, honestly, there was like at least two segments that pissed me off. Well, one match that pissed me off. One match that pissed me off was the Divas match. It was a great match. Kaitlyn was in the ring and versus Eve. It was a really good match, and it showed that Kaitlyn really has grown as a wrestler. But what do we pay attention to? Layla and Miz arguing on the sidelines. I mean, dude, stop ignoring the Divas. The last Raw was ignored like heavily. Nobody really paid attention to anything in that ring And then here comes Vicky Guerrero kind of taking the attention off. And yes, I know I said positive stuff about it, but that really didn't make any sense. But now you got the commentators arguing on the sidelines, completely ignoring the match itself and not giving these women their credit. That just really did bother me. And then another thing that bothered me was the fact that Vicky Guerrero got the upper hand twice. Seriously, why is Vicky getting all of these segments? Why is she getting her more than like 3 or 5 minutes of talking? Why? Why didn't she just come out there with Dolph and just stick to going out there with Dolph? She's had like at least 3 or 4 segments tonight, and it's just ridiculous. The fact that she slapped AJ and got away with it, and AJ just went bonkers. You're the freaking GM. You could do anything you want. You could have fined her $50,000 a slap. You could have banned her from ringside until WrestleMania. She could have done anything, but they made her into a baby. And the first time they made her GM, she was sane. Come on, make up your mind. But it was a given that they really did have to pull out some kind of twist in the end to actually have people not go to sleep. And it was interesting how they ended the whole thing with the main event, Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena. Yes, it was nice to see a regular old backyard brawl, street fight, whatever. They actually took it outside the ring, and it was nice to see that. We all knew that CM Punk wasn't there, but they had to put a twist in it, seeing how that Paul Heyman is possibly going to be CM Punk's next client. CM Punk is actually Paul Heyman's next client. Yeah, that was somewhat of a twist, but good grief, I was already taken out of this thing. I have to say that they really didn't do much for the Night of Champions, in my opinion, because they've only announced 2 matches when they have or when they already have 3. I think they already have 3 or possibly 4 that's already set, but they didn't announce like it. I mean, in my opinion, they should have had at least 3 matches announced tonight. And I know that it has another 2 weeks to go, but they should have announced at least 3 matches tonight and then finish off the rest of the card the following week. I mean, but still, they only had 2 matches announced when I know that there was 3. But regardless of that, it's just I don't feel like it really did much for Night of Champions. They did have a little bit of advertising there, but the matches were pointless. The segments were a little pointless. The fact that Jerry the King Lawler got knocked out before coming out, yeah. And the fact that CM Punk is still feuding with the guy is pointless as well. I mean, I don't know. I really did not have much of a good experience with this Raw tonight. I really didn't. I didn't at all. I wasn't like, oh man, that's awesome. But you're not gonna always have your best every single night. I mean, it's a given. But I have to say that this really wasn't the best of the best of the best Raw. And not like last week. Last week I actually did give it a C because last week it was pretty much a C. But I have to say, with AJ's segment, with Vicky Guerrero getting far too much airtime, with the fact that the matches were completely pointless, the fact that the commentators completely sucked all the energy out of, not the energy, but all of the moments out of the Divas match when they should have had their time to shine, especially the fact that she's the number 1 contender. And then, I don't know, the only positive segment there was, I have to, and also, good grief, the anger management segment was interesting. That segment was interesting as well as the opener. But I have to say, the hugging it out, oh my gosh, that pretty much took it a whole letter grade down. I was going to give it a C, but I got to give it a D. Because you messed up my monster, man. Seriously. I got to give it a D. I mean, it wasn't completely horrible, but the segments and the matches and Vicky having far too much airtime and Kane completely being downgraded, it was just really not all that great. So I'm giving it a D. That's my verdict, and I'm sticking to it. Leave your comments in the comment section below and send me a video response if you have something to say. I am all for it. I am all ears. If I am up to actually doing a review about SmackDown, I will put it up on that Friday. And if they still have power rankings, I'll do that as well. This is Girl 30 signing off. I'm going to bed. Peace out.